So I don't think that I needed any vitamins tonight to actually cheer myself up to give you a summary of Cyril Ramaphosa's speech and my thoughts on that, because there's actually quite a lot to discuss. And I didn't get his whole speech live, so I'm sure that many of you are already very excited about some of the announcements made. And I hope that you don't forget what you've been put through over the last period of time and just carry on with your life as if nothing's happened before. So, in his speech, I'll come later to the specific announcement that many of you are excited about. But if that is all that you listen to, then you should focus on what this man is actually saying and what is coming. There's always a payoff to the things that you are given. And he mentioned the payoff in his speech, while the speech that was written for him. The first thing that I noticed was that he looked as tired as I felt in my last video. And he said that this has been 5 months since a state of disaster has been declared. And then I wrote you waffle, which means that he was talking a whole lot of nonsense, political speak after that. And he said that there were signs of hope and that there was actually progress. Now, the last time he spoke to us, he was speaking about this perfect storm that was coming and all this nonsense. And now, a short while later, all of a sudden, he's saying that everything's changed and that all of a sudden that there's signs of hope. He gives a whole lot of numbers that the infections were 12,000 a day, that it's down now to 5,000 a day. And he said that the recovery rate was only at 48% and is now at 80%. Now, if he understands statistics, then he will know why that actually happens. You know, it takes time for these things to happen, and you need to understand that recovery, because it takes time, and it's a part of a function of time, the numbers change quickly when you actually get to a certain point. He said that there were 583,653 cases, and the focus throughout his speech was on cases, not on deaths, because obviously at the moment the problem is that this death thing did not work out for them at all. And he actually speaks about the fact that all the projections had to be brought down greatly. All the projections that he based all of his lockdowns and destroying our economy on had to be brought down. But although he said that there's 583,653 cases that were reported in South Africa, they're not active cases. The active cases are only 105,000. And he said that most of the provinces were over the peaks, and the people that were hospitalized went down from 10,000 to 4,000. He said that the few hospitals have emptied out. Well, they never filled up, President Cyril Ramaphosa. Why didn't you say that? Now he's saying the field hospitals are empty. We knew this already. We have people that went there that could give us feedback. They were actually housing homeless people in there, feeding them food just so that they could get some kind of numbers inside of there, although these people were only in quarantine. Then he said that 11,600 people had died from the COVID-19 pandemic. Now we know that many of these people, well, all of these people were just tested positive for the SARS-CoV-2 virus, and there is no way of proving that they actually died from the COVID-19 disease. So that number is dubious at best. He now comes up with this whole idea that if they hadn't acted swiftly, that many more lives would have been lost. Now he has to say this narrative because if he doesn't play it off against people dying, his entire reason for starting this massive campaign that was absolute fear-mongering would be not only in vain, would be an absolute lie. But this lie has been exposed a long time ago. Now he says that the health facilities have proven to be capable. Now, if they've proven to be capable, then why did they stop people from doing so many different things that they say was to help the health facilities to be capable? So models were adjusted downward. He admits that they had to adjust these models downward, that the initial models were wrong. All these initial models that they had actually based their COVID-19 franticness on, they were wrong. And based on these models, he made decisions. And the World Health Organization told him what to do. Then he said that we cannot let our guard down as restrictions are dropped. Okay, and here the fear-mongering starts again. We cannot become complacent. There could be an increased rate of infections again, and he mentions other countries where they actually dropped their lockdown restrictions, and then he said the infections increased again and they had to go back to the original restrictions. So he is saying that they could lift the restrictions at any time again. So he's just making sure that we know that at any stage they can take action and do with the numbers what they want, because they've been doing that in any case, and all of a sudden we can be back to any level of lockdown. Then he speaks about cloth masks that should be worn over the nose and mouth the moment you leave your house. Okay? And that we should still practice social distancing, and especially look after the elderly. And only travel when absolutely necessary. He said that he could be infected and that we could also be infected and not know it. Now, the fact that he doesn't know this by now and hasn't mentioned it is really retarded, because we've known for a long time that you could have been infected with a virus and not show any symptoms. In fact, that is why this is not a pandemic, because most people don't even know that they have it. It's not that serious. This is the problem. It affects people with comorbidities the most. So why didn't we just protect the people with comorbidities? This is the question that should be asked, because he has gone and destroyed an entire economy because of the stupid mindset of his. So he warns us, you could be infected, I could be infected right now, and I could infect everybody. So all of us need to make as if we are infected. He's telling us that this should be normal. Your mind should tell you you're infected. The man is mad, he's lost his marbles. Then he speaks of hardship and hunger, but he blames the disease for the hardship and hunger, not the government for their lockdown restrictions. So he's been blatantly dishonest. And then he said after that the measures they put in place caused great hardship. But no measures would have been more devastating than had they not done anything, he says. So he says it would have been much worse if they had not done anything. Many people would have died, and not putting measures in place would have been worse. Now, how does he know this? He will never know, but politically he will have to face the fallout. It's as simple as that, because the evidence that we have seen of late is that he made a massive mistake in listening to the World Health Organization and all their fear-mongering. Then he says from Monday 12 o'clock, and I'm not sure, it must be Monday 12 o'clock that evening, so it's 2 days to go, we will go to alert level 2. Now this is what most people expected. And the restrictions that are lifted, inter-provincial travel will be allowed. So I won't have to haul out my permits to go across the borders. Accommodation, hospitality industry, tours and so on will be allowed, obviously with restrictions. Restaurants, bars and taverns will be allowed to open fully. Their hours will still be restricted. The tobacco ban is lifted. So finally people can cheer about the tobacco ban. It was never going to happen in a court case. Okay? Those were all fakery. The alcohol ban is lifted with certain restrictions and conditions, and that's with regards to the hours when alcohol can be sold, and you cannot sell alcohol past 10 o'clock at night in any one of these restaurants. Then the most important thing to me is family visit restrictions were lifted. Now to me this was the biggest load of nonsense if ever I had heard any. Not to allow you to visit your loved one, especially before they are dying or in hospital dying, and you won't allow them to visit that loved one, and you also won't allow them to actually go and give comfort in that time. It is absolute madness, and he will have to live this down for the rest of his life. I don't know how he sleeps at night. Then some measures will remain, and we know this. There will be no international travel. The 50 people at funerals for church gatherings will remain. The curfew will remain, so we are still being treated like teenagers from 10 at night to 4 in the morning. And the state of disaster obviously was extended till the 15th of September with another month, and they can do this indefinitely, as we know. Okay? Obviously, at this stage, there's no reprise for the entertainment industry. So all the people in the entertainment industry, many of them my friends, are still out in the lurch. Sports will be able to take place, but no crowds will be allowed. No concerts will be allowed. Nothing that gives these people reprieve will be allowed. This is madness. If you can pack a taxi full of people for 200 kilometers, you can have a band together on stage. I cannot see how this can be a problem. So this whole crowd control thing is going to become a problem now, and it will become a big drive of mine. And I will be meeting with people in next week where we will be discussing how to take this further. Because our president needs to say, how is he going to compensate these people? How can he expect these people to just lose everything that they built up over their lives? I mean, this cannot be allowed. Then he says this virus will be with us for many months. Now, how does he know that? That the virus will be with us for many months. Why not years? Why not decades? Many months. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. It's really pathetic. Then he thanks traditional leaders, party leaders, and he starts this whole waffle about thanking people for helping people to become aware of the new normal. Women's organizations and all sorts. So he's actually trying to find favor with his organizations with this whole bogus story that he's rolling out. Okay? He calls this the time of the coronavirus. He declares it, the time of the coronavirus. Is the man absolutely mad? You should call it the worst president in the history of South Africa at the worst time possible in South Africa. The man that ruined a country. That's what he should call it. The time of the coronavirus. Really. I never thought something that small would be given that much power in a sick man's mind. Then, this is the kicker. The most important part of the entire speech. For all of these things, there's always a payoff for them, okay? Especially our New World Order ideologists, stooges, and agents. He says that we need to identify, isolate, test, and trace, and quarantine every contact person of anyone that has been tested positive. So they are saying now, if someone is tested positive, any contact that you've had should be identified, isolated, tested, traced, and quarantined. You're going to be put in quarantine. This is what he's saying. Every contact. And he will announce a powerful tool in digital contact tracing efforts in the coming weeks. Then he says, in addition to manual contact tracing, a national WhatsApp channel, a mobile app, does this sound familiar? Will be used to notify contacts more quickly while maintaining privacy. Maintaining privacy. He has no idea what he's talking about, does he? Then he speaks of these wonderful 43 World Health Organization experts that have come to South Africa. And what these idiots will be helping us with, because they weren't elected by us. I really don't want them here. I believe we have experts enough in this country. So what are they doing here? There's many people from the World Health Organization already in our country. So why do we need these 43 new experts? How do our experts feel about this? They will help with analysis, infection control, incident management, and community engagement. Why are people from the World Health Organization, non-South Africans, in our communities engaging with them? Why is this happening? People, really, this is absolute madness. Then he hits the big topic of the day, thievery. How the people have stolen during this time. All this money that's been stolen. Then he says he's taken decisive action to bring them to book, all these thieves. After in the last speech he said that the money has actually reached all the people it was intended for, and the next sentence, like the speechwriter tried to actually take him for an absolute fool, he says how the money's been stolen by many. He says we need an urgent economic recovery after all these thieves have looted, and he will bring all of them to book. He didn't give much of a long speech on that lot. I think that they're knowing that the country is out for blood right now. His blood. Then he says we're going to return South Africa to where we were before. That is met with all the interested parties, all the business leaders. We will return South Africa to where we were. He should ask every artist out there how he's going to return them to where they were. Every musician out there, every person in the travel industry that needs to make bookings. I'm thinking about you, my friend. I'm thinking about you. Not being able to make bookings and make a living. Stacy, I'm thinking about you. Not being able to make a decent living. Many other travel agents not being able to make bookings. This is madness. How about all the people that are part of the airline industry that want to be able to fly places? The air hostesses, the technical staff, the pilots. I can carry on and on. How many people are absolutely without any form of income? How are you going to help them, Cyril? You have said nothing about them. Absolutely nothing. But he will return South Africa to where we were before. Who wrote that in your speech, Cyril? He says we'll be more equal and more just and more dynamic in our economy than ever before. More equal, equality, more dynamic in our economy. And we should apply the same energy to economic reform as we have in surviving this crisis that you've created. So you want us to use the same energy that we've used to try and survive this mess to help you to bring back the economy while you're still earning your fat salary. You're sick in the head. Then I wrote waffle, a whole lot of political waffle. So I hope that you enjoyed my version of Cyril Ramaphosa's speech. The man is demented. I think he needs to retire. He should just resign. I don't think anyone else wants a job right now. He's probably so power hungry and wanting to be the head of Africa within the New World Order government. And he's probably rubbing his fingers together thinking, when am I going to get that prize? You know, it's not enough that he's already the leader of the ANC, the president of the ANC, the president of South Africa, and the chair of the AU. No, he wants to be the leader of Africa in the New World Order government. That is his master plan. But I think this pandemic is going to get the better of him first. So let's see how much longer he can actually take this and survive. To the people in the entertainment industry, in the airline industry, all the industries that I haven't mentioned that aren't making it at the moment. I'm thinking of you. I'm going to fight for you. I'm going to expose what is happening to you. Thank you very much for subscribing to this channel. Remember that Tuesday at 9 o'clock, I'll be with Jerry Manel on germ warfare. From 9 till 10, it will be a 1 hour slot. It will be a live interview. Please follow and watch that. And thank you to all of you that have come to my meetings. Tomorrow is a rest day. Monday, I have another meeting again. So not too much rest. Thank you to all of you that have supported me during this time. Kept us on this tour. And remember, we have an answer to this problem. We need to directly elect our leaders. We need this absolutely buffoonish government to change our governance system and change it fast and call for new elections, for new leaders where we can elect our leaders directly. For those of you that don't understand what this is, you can go to #DirectElections on Facebook. And you can also, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and click the bell icon so you can get notifications for new videos. Many of you have told me that the bell icon notification goes away. Go and click it often so that you know and make sure that you still have that notification there. Thank you very much for watching this video. Till I speak to you again on Monday.